style.
Jizz, you could make a little something small for me to carry, please.
What happened to your hand? I have to go to work too. Why you didn't wake up and make breakfast for me to eat?
But I'm running late, girl.
Anthony! Anthony! Yulin! Boy! Just now I'm in. I ain't sure how long what I go stay for today, na girl? Yeah, who there?
That's just a portion of what is really Cinema for Change and a long-standing journey. Joining us in studio is the Executive Chairman of Stephen Edwards Productions, Stephen Edwards. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, and I want to say thank you so much for having me. And, you know, to all your viewers on the World Wide Web and on TTT, pleasant good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show, and I think long overdue as well, because this has been a long time coming. So let's start at the beginning of Stephen Edwards Productions. How did we get here today?
Okay, well, Stephen Edwards Productions really started off, what I used to do plays in church, right? And I recognized that all the young persons would come out anytime we would have a play. They don't necessarily come to church, but they'll come to the plays and so on. And at the time, my wife was pregnant, so we moved. And we had a dormant time. And that one of the young men who were very, very involved at 17 years old, they called him out of his house, put him to kneel down, and they shot him through his temple. And that made me realize that theater and the arts and what we did actually saved lives. So that's really the genesis of where Stephen Edwards Productions have really come from, And since then, I've seen people from all walks of life come through the organization, do theater, do movies, and I realize how much, we as a society, even though we might have different backgrounds and different experiences, everybody have their own cross to bear, and theater and the arts really, really help with those things. So I try to foster a real family environment, There are no cliques, there are no stars, there are no, everybody come there to do a job. So
It's so true, and as somebody who is a part of the family, it definitely has made an incredible difference in my life as well, I have to say. And it's great to finally see this happen. Speaking about what happened in IMAX on Wednesday.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the project and what's next.
Well, Cinema for Change started again during the pandemic. I was doing a lot of training. And there's a woman who was part of the training and left a really, really harrowing voice note when Ashanti was abducted. And I said I had to do something about it. And so what I did is I basically created a course for women who might have gone through that kind of stuff, who have survived, gender-based violence. And we did some training with them, as well as put them in actual productions and had them produce their own stuff. And that was picked up by PBS. So fast forward, Wednesday's, illustration of what we did is basically a fruition for people to actually see themselves on the screen, see their hard work really come to pass, because it's one thing to be involved, but when you see yourself on an IMAX screen, it's a total difference.
It definitely is a total difference. We're seeing here, of course, some of the members of the family who have worked with you side by side for years.
Right.
And it's beautiful to see, again, this is decades of work.
Yeah.
What would you say is your main goal for Stephen Edwards Productions?
To put Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension Caribbean culture on the world map. You know, we get all excited when, and I have no qualms with that, when a Trinidadian is, you know, included in some sort of, you know, foreign program or whatever the case might be, you know, television show, something like that. But the thing about it is that that is somebody else telling our stories. And for me, the biggest thing is to be able to tell the world your story. Because Trinidad and Tobago is a very unique place. It's the only place in the world where you'll see a Christmas tree in a Diwali Naga. You understand?
Yes,
that's
true.
who we are. We don't have a local dish. We have a local menu. You only talk doubles, roti, pilau. You know, I could cook a real good curry goat. You understand what I'm saying? And that is traditionally an East Indian, you know, meal. So it's the way that we are cultured, the way we speak, the way that we live with each other. That to me is something that should be on our world stage. And so for me, like you would see in Sweet T&T, so many different places, so many different homes, so many different backgrounds, you know what I mean, on there. And to be talking in your own particular thing. So like, you know, this particular actress here, you know, I mean, she you know, she did an excellent job.
Thank you very much for that. Wasn't ready, but definitely. Well, it was a pleasure to work with you on this, of course, and it's a pleasure to see how far you've come and where you want to take the organization, which takes us to what is in the future for Stephen Edwards Productions and how can we get involved?
Right. So what I'm doing now is taking this here because we've had some really, really great partners in the past. We have the Massey Foundation, you know, we have sports and community development. They came on board for this particular event. But what we want to start to do now is develop the series. You know, this was the pilot. We want to develop the series. There are a couple of series that I have, and then I have the whole kids department with Toko, Tim, and that kind of stuff. And there are 2 movies that I have already scripted. So there's a lot of production that needs to take place, as well as there's a lot of awareness of on social media and that kind of stuff. Because, you know, persons, if you ask the average person, have you ever seen a Steve Edwards production? It's no. And so even though the quality of the product is good, we need to start more awareness of it. So, you know, one of the things that I'm thinking of doing is actually doing a showing at IMAX, you know, next, just regular IMAX, you know, not a premiere, you know, rather dress up fancy like Wednesday, you know, you just go to the show and really take in local entertainment, because it's important to have people speak like you, look like you, and to see that representation on the screen.
Excellent. It really, really is important. So you need to share with us when those dates are happening.
Yeah, definitely.
How can we get in contact with Stephen Edwards Productions?
Sure. You can call me on WhatsApp, 763-6603. That's 1-868-763-6603. I say WhatsApp because I traverse between here and New Jersey. Right? So, and that's the other thing. I'm trying to expand a lot more of what we do outside. So I've kind of made a deal to do something called Island Vibes on Chicago WGN early morning TV.
Very good.
So that, you know, a lot of Caribbean producers would be able to come and have their stuff across there. Because the thing about it, right, being a producer, for me, I understand that you can never produce enough content to suffice. You as a person, director, producer, you probably spend 9 months to have a finished product. That 9 months of your life is watching an hour and a half. And you know what's the next question? What are we going to see next? Every time, think about it. When you watch a Netflix series, what's the next series? So for me, it's important not just for Steve Edwards Productions, but, you know, to start increasing with other Caribbean producers, you know. And so one of the things that I did was brought Dove Simmons, who's Hollywood's #1 film teacher, and you know, to encourage more and more of that content being created.
Excellent. Stephen, I wish we had more time. Hopefully we can have you back on the show soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, and we're going to continue this conversation. Stephen Edwards, Executive Chairman of Stephen Edwards Productions, Cinema for Change. Let's stand united hand in hand. Check them out on social media so you can get involved. Stay tuned. There's more coming up right after this break.
And if not us, then who?